Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be unboxing some tech packages that have arrived from around the world, some of them from very far away. I'm pretty excited to see what I got, so let's dig in. If you have something you'd like to send, the address is in the description below. It has changed, so please avoid sending items to the old postal address. The first 3 packages were sent all the way from America by a guy called Thomas. I think there's some pretty cool stuff in here from what he's mentioned previously, so let's open it up and take a look. Okay, we're starting with the first package sent by Thomas all the way from America. I'm not sure what's exactly in this package or in the other one specifically. It's been a while since he sent them and I don't remember, so let's open it up. Okay, we have got some foam. A piece of cardboard that says power supply for some reason. We've got another bit of foam. Oh, I think this is a motherboard from what looks to be an iMac. I'm not exactly sure which model this is. It must be a 2014 or newer potentially. Okay, cool. Well, that's definitely something. I wasn't expecting that, I'll admit. Oh, and something else I didn't notice. We've got an Apple keyboard. I actually don't own one of these anymore. It's been many a year since I've personally owned one. There we go. It's been many years since I've owned one. Does it work? I have no idea. I'll assume it does, but I'll have to test it later in the video. Looking around the board, I can't see any obvious ways to identify it. There was what looked to be a serial number, but that didn't help either. Surely there would be something written on the processor, right? Well, let's take off the heatsink and find out. With the old paste out of the way, I can read this series of numbers and letters, but a quick Google search yields no results. I also don't know what I could possibly do with this board since it has several small components broken off the surface. Alright, and we have another package from Thomas. I believe you've got to pull this tab on the side and that will open the box. Let's find out. Oh god. Almost there. Okay, maybe a trusty knife will help. There we go. Let's see what's inside, shall we? Ooh. Okay, I might have to blur that, depending on what it is. What is this? Wheeler House, Chicago, Illinois. Oh, that's cool. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. Obviously, it's an American something. Oh well, but what's inside? Oh, okay. This looks like it's an Ibook G4? Probably a G4? 12-inch Ibook G? No, G3 Ibook. Oh wow, that's in pretty good shape. Oh, thank you very much, Thomas. We'll have to see whether it works later in the video. Well, let's see if the battery holds a charge. Maybe not. Well, that's pretty cool. The latch keeping the screen closed is sadly broken, but the hinge itself is fine. And when connected to a power source, apart from the charge status light coming on, it doesn't appear to do anything. No sounds or signs of life. And lifting up the keyboard reveals that this is a 500 MHz 2001 model iBook with an airport card installed. And after leaving it plugged in for a bit, I also determined that the battery is well and truly dead. Okay, and here we have the last package from Thomas. Ooh, okay, hang on. Looks like we've got, oh, this is it's a MacBook. I think it's an aluminium MacBook because they had the, what do you call it? The little user accessible battery, which was one of the last Apple laptops to do so. That's pretty cool. I don't own one of those. That could make for a pretty cool video. Is it a 13-inch model? It looks to be. So it's a MacBook Pro. Oh, okay. It's got a bit of glass damage on it though. Oh, the screen's shattered. Oh, maybe that happened during shipping. I'm not sure. So it's a MacBook Pro, but it must be one of the really early aluminium ones because it has the user accessible battery. Well, thank you very much for sending that, Thomas. That's pretty cool. Well, let's see what else is in this box. It feels like there's something else in there. Oh, okay. And of course, the charger. Well, thank you very much for sending that through, Thomas. I'll have to see if I can find a replacement screen for this particular MacBook. And thankfully, I do believe I've got a spare display assembly that should be compatible. And actually, given that there was no packaging inside the box, it looks as if the charger actually dented it and destroyed the screen. So yeah, that seems to be why the screen is now destroyed. While the screen is no good, it makes a boot chime and does appear to turn on. Perhaps there is no operating system installed. This was also the first MacBook Pro to have the neat little charge status indicator on the side. And Apple kept this very easy access door for less than a year, opting to have all the components under a singular back casing afterwards. And it does appear as if this hard disk has been tampered with at some point. And while the battery is easily replaceable, it is only 50 watt hours. This could definitely be an interesting video topic in the future, I'd say. Okay, and next up we have a package from Hugh Jeffreys. Yes, the very successful YouTuber. He sent this package to me about 4 years ago, and I was going to open it on camera, but then I forgot where I put it in the shed. And when we moved, I did find it again, and now I'm finally remembering to unbox it. So let's see exactly what he sent over. Okay, so what is in this box? I could have sworn he said it was an Ibook, or maybe a PowerBook G4. Got a bit of packaging here to hopefully keep it protected. Ooh, would you look at that? Wow, that is a 12-inch PowerBook. Wow, it's been a while since I've seen one of those. I don't think I own one anymore. I used to maybe own one. Is the PowerBook supposed to work? I honestly can't remember. It's in pretty rough shape, and since I've never covered one of these on my channel, it would make for a good video. And when fired up, it does show signs of life and eventually loads into macOS. However, the screen was quite dim, and after letting it sit for a few minutes, it did get a bit brighter. Cosmetically, it has a few weird issues that I've never seen before, and it sounds as if there's a disk constantly trying to eject, but it simply never comes out. It's a good candidate for a future restoration. Thank you, Hugh, for sending this over to me. A few years ago, I gave away around 35 Google Nexus 7 tablets. However, some of them didn't make it to the winners. This one made it all the way to Mumbai in India, but it appears to have some water damage. The first one I'll open up to see if it survived the postage was bound for Iran of all places. It seems as if most of the ones that shipped to the USA, England, and locally here in Australia made it to their destinations. However, some of the other countries had some very complicated addresses. If you were supposed to be sent one of these and it didn't make it, well, I'm sorry about that. And this one doesn't appear to have been damaged during its time in the postal system. The unit itself looks pretty clean, as it should, considering it's in a sealed refurbished box. Oh, and what else is included in the box? Oh nice, we get a micro USB cable. I definitely need more of those, but the charging brick is for a foreign plug, so it isn't much help. And when plugged in, does it show any signs of life? Oh nice, we get a Google logo. 2 hours later. However, even after letting it sit for a few hours, it's still at the Google logo, so it definitely has booting issues. Will my luck improve with the package I sent to India that came back in much worse condition? I have no idea why the string has been tied around it. Perhaps the Mumbai post felt as if the labels were going to fall off, and this has clearly seen a hard life on its journey, with the corners dented in and signs of water damage. Yes, I did sign every single one of these so they shipped out, and to be fair, there's every possibility that this didn't work to begin with, given how many years the tablets had been sitting in their boxes, even before I purchased them. The moment of truth. Has that potential liquid damage made it all the way inside the box? The screen appears normal, but oh my, that is sure a solid bit of what looks to be mold forming. This isn't exactly how you want your tablet to look. A pair of gloves is without a doubt necessary. Water and electronics don't mix, and for some reason I thought it would be a good idea to still try and power it on. It appeared to draw a small current, but nothing showed up on screen. I'll let that sit for a bit and see if that helps. Either way, I definitely wanted the micro USB cable within, assuming it isn't corroded. It's quite hard to see, but the screen's backlight does momentarily turn on. However, it shows no other signs of life, sadly. Now, what about that Apple wireless keyboard that Thomas sent over? With some eucalyptus oil, I gave it a wipe down. This very quickly got it looking nice once again. It's quite easy to get the batteries out, using my trusty 1979 Australian 10-cent coin to open it. Inside are a pair of AA batteries. The ones in here may very well work, however, I forgot to test them. In go a cheap pair of ones I got from Bunnings. A 30 pack of these is only like 10 Australian dollars, and I'll be pairing it with the 12-inch PowerBook from Hugh. It was quite easy to set up, and I had to type in a series of numbers first for it to pair. It really is the perfect size keyboard to use with a 12-inch PowerBook. Surprisingly comfortable to use like this as well. I hope you've enjoyed this moldy look at some packages I've been sent. If you want to send stuff in for me to make videos on in the future, the postal address will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. If you'd like to get your name in the end credits or at the beginning of my videos, as well as some behind the scenes stuff, please consider becoming a channel member. I'll see you in the next video.